Hey everybody, it's me, Zumbini again. Oh man, I need a haircut. Anyways, the Muffin Top is back again, and I'm here to discuss propaganda, the thing we learned all about in elementary school, and the fact that you are not immune to it, and you've probably experienced some propaganda in your lifetime. And speaking of which, you've probably played a propaganda video game, so let's discuss a few examples. So we all know that propaganda exists and is a thing. But yeah, duh, we all learned about that in history class, Zumbini. And you've all been like, man, that's so crazy. It's honestly ridiculous how those German citizens fell for all that propaganda back in the 30s. I would never do something like that. But guess what, fool? You did fall for it. Seeing as you clicked on this video and saw the thumbnail and clicked on it, which is, in a certain definition, is propaganda. Now, propaganda has existed for years and years and years and years, and has been used to mainly convince people that some specific group of people either suck or are the second best thing after sliced bread and Jesus. Or third best thing, excuse me. But as the times have passed and new mediums came to be, those mediums were used to make propaganda in different sorts of ways. It's kind of impossible to find out where exactly the first propagandized video game was. So in this video I'm just going to make a list of a couple of the major ones I'd like to talk about. Back in the early 2000s, the 2003 invasion of Iraq was a huge event that impacted pop culture at the time. And during this turbulent time, when the general public was against something that the government did, of course there's going to be propaganda to get people on their side. Some of the most notable American propaganda games were developed during this time and after it. And I think the most notable one, which became a series, was America's Army. Released on July 4th, 2002, and I thought they were slick with that. The game and its following sequels were handed out for free by army recruiters from the army to poor kids, specifically who couldn't buy the usual FPS game and had to go with a recruitment tool. I haven't played any of the games myself, but I've seen the slogans and how it was developed by the army itself. I can't say that I'm going to be a fan of this piece of media, even if I did play it and was like, oh, this is a good game. The thing I find to be distasteful about this entire series is that it's been explicitly said that America's Army was directed towards teenagers by people who made the game. And with it costing like literally nothing at all, really appealing to broke-ass high schoolers who, seeing as they're broke and they don't really want to go to college, it kind of influences them to join the army and then risk their lives dying in the Middle East for no apparent reason. Not only do you have recruiters breathing down your neck whenever they come to your school, but now you got this propaganda showing you how cool and respectful and awesome it is to kill people. And while that could be true, I guess, the reality of war is not a video game. You don't respawn, you don't get epic kill streaks, and you don't get to yell slurs at someone who's been targeting you. War is a brutal reality, and seeing as recent events, I think trying to get kids to sign up for something as, through something as innocent as a hobby is a scummy thing to do. Also, George Bush is a war criminal, and we should be trying him for that, and he should be sentenced to death. Anyways, let's go across the pond, all the way over to the beautiful land of China. Now, China lives, laughs, loves propaganda, and their youth love video games. So you can kind of see where this is going. The first one is a really obscure and really hard to find game called Anti-Japan War Online, which takes place during the Second Sino-Japanese War in the 30s and 40s, which is just a stage, pretty much in World War II. Honestly, I totally understand this, because the Japanese did some awful stuff whenever they invaded China during that time period, and you can look that up for yourself. Because, American schools, which is my primary audience, doesn't really teach about that. So I think that's a good thing to know about. The next Chinese game is called Glorious Mission and is also anti-Japanese and features gameplay of the Sino-Japanese Wars, specifically the Battle of Shanghai. And also in the modern day it takes place, I'm pretty sure, invading Taiwan. So yeah, that's cool. Really, it's just Chinese Call of Duty, if I'm being honest. Again, like my point for America's Army, it's scummy to gear this type of shit to Chinese kids. But honestly, that's a given for China, so I'm not that surprised. Anyways, while we're still kind of on the topic of, Iraq and 2003, I wanted to mention Quest for Saddam, which was a game released in 2003 after the invasion of Iraq, and was similar to Doom, and was honestly just a parody and a little funny game made by some people. But even more hilarious is the fact that 3 years later, in 2006, the Global Islamic Media Front made Quest for Bush, a mod of the aforementioned game, where instead of hunting down Saddam Hussein and killing Iraqi soldiers, you kill American soldiers and you hunt down George Bush. Sign me and the rest of America up for the hunt for Quest for Bush. I would love to play that game. If I ever got my hands on that game, I would play it for a video. I promise. Okay, so now we've got the kind of normal yet scummy games out of the way. Let's get to the equivalent of a burning pile of garbage. These games, which were made by neo-Nazi and skinhead groups, are low-quality FPS games, and just trying to get people to join the dumb little clubs. Such games such as Ethnic Cleansing and Zog's Nightmare are just the most famous examples of senseless hatred made into code for gullible people to play. Honestly, if you walked into a neo-Nazi meeting and was like, hey, I saw the video game, I'm ready to join, I feel like they'd beat you to death. I'm not even playing. Imagine being racist because of a video game. That's crazy. Alright folks, very cool video we had today. Just one more thing I wanted to let you guys know. You are not immune to propaganda. Do not forget that. Make sure I can identify propaganda wherever you go, because it's always going to be there. What else was that? Oh yeah. I've enjoyed talking about video games again. You know, I've missed talking about them. I haven't talked about them in since the freaking Mario Kart tracks came out. But anyways, yeah, I hope you guys are excited for that next video because it's coming up. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.